Should be good. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jai Yashodanandana Jai Vraja Jana Ranjana Jai Yashodanandana Jai Vraja Jana Ranjana Jai Vraja Jana Ranjana Jai Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Radha Madhava Jai Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Jai Girivaradhari Jai Yashodanandana Jai Vraja Jana Ranjana Jai Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Madhava Jai Kunja Vihari Jai Radha Madhava कुंज बिहारी। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत्। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवति उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम, Canto 5th, Chapter 18th, chapter entitled The Residents of Jambudvip Offer Prayers. Text 38. करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् यस्येप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् यस्येप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे। करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् सेप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे। करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् यस्येप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे। करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् यस्येप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे। माताजी's करोति विश्वस्थिति संयमोदयम् यस्येप्सितं नेप्सितमीक्षितुर्गुणैः माया यथा यो भ्रमते तदाश्रयम् ग्रावणो नमस्ते गुणकर्मसाक्षिणे। Word forward meaning. Koti, performing, Vishwa of the universe, Sthiti, the maintenance, Sanyama, winding up, Udayam, creation, Yasya, of whom, Ipsitam, desired, Na, not, Ipsitam, desired, Ikshituhu, of the one, glancing over, Gunaihi, with the modes of material nature, Maya, the material energy, Yatha, as much as, Ayaha, iron, Brahmate, moves, Tadashrayam, placed near that, Gravanaha, a magnetic stone, Namaha, my respectful obeisances, Te, unto you, Gunakarma Sakshine, the witness of the actions and reactions of material nature. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Abhay Charana Aravinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. O Lord, you do not desire the creation, maintenance, or annihilation of the material world, but you perform these activities for the conditioned souls by your creative energy. Exactly as a piece of stone, as a piece of iron moves under the influence of a lodestone, inert matter moves when you glance over the material energy. Purport. Sometimes the question arises why the Supreme Lord has created this material world, which is so full of suffering for the living entities entrapped in it. The answer given herein is that the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not wish to create this material world just to inflict suffering on the living entities. The Supreme Lord creates this world only because the conditioned souls want to enjoy it. The workings of nature are not going on automatically. It is only because the Lord glances over the material energy that it acts in wonderful ways, just as a lodestone causes a piece of iron to move here and there. Because materialistic scientists and so-called Sankhya philosophers do not believe in God, they think that material nature is working without supervision. But that is not the fact. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Adi Leela 6, 18, 19, the creation of the material world is explained as follows. Yadyapi Sankhya mane pradhana karan jada haite kabhu nahe jagat srujan. निज सृष्टि शक्ति प्रभु संचारे प्रधाने ईश्वरे रस शक्ति तबे हयेत निर्माणे. Atheistic Sankhya philosophers think that the total material energy causes the cosmic manifestation, but they are wrong. Dead matter has no moving power and therefore it cannot act independently. The Lord infuses the material ingredients with His own creative potency. Then by the power of the Lord, matter moves and interacts. Sea waves are moved by the air is created from ether, and ether is produced by the agitation of the three modes of material nature. And the three modes of the material nature interact due to the Supreme Lord's glance over the total material energy. Therefore, the background of all natural occurrences is the Supreme Personality of Godhead as confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Mayadhyakshena prakritihi suyate sacharacharam. This is also further explained in Chaitanya Charitamrita Adi Leela 5:59 to 61. Jagat karana nahe prakriti jada rupa shakti sanchariya tare Krishna करे कृपा. कृष्ण शक्ते प्रकृति हय गौण कारण अग्नि शक्ते लौह यैछे करये जारण. अतएव कृष्ण मूल जगत कारण प्रकृति कारण यैछे अजा गलस्तन. Because Prakriti, material nature, is dull and inert, it cannot actually be the cause of the material world. Lord Krishna shows His mercy by infusing His energy into the dull, inert material nature. Thus, Prakriti, by the energy of Lord Krishna, becomes secondary cause, just as iron becomes red hot by the energy of fire. Therefore, Lord Krishna is the original cause of the cosmic manifestation. Prakriti is like the nipples on the neck of the goat, for they cannot give any milk. Thus, it is a great mistake on the part of the material scientists and philosophers to think that matter moves independently. Next verse doesn't have purport and it's last verse of the chapter, so we'll be reading that as well. Pramathya daityam prativaranam mrudhe yo mam rasaya jagadadi sukaraha krutvagra danshtre niragadu danvataha kridannivebha pranatasmitam vibhu miti. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. My Lord, as the original boar within this universe, you fought and killed the great demon Hiranyaksha. Then you lifted me, the earth, from the Garbhodadak ocean on the end of your tusk, exactly as a sporting elephant plucks a flower, lotus flower from the water. I bow down before you. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta purports of the 5th canto, 18th chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam entitled The Prayers Offered to the Lord by the Residents of Jambudvipa. ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः. श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपः कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं. वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगणा रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनासहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपादान् सहगणा ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च. नमः ॐ विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने. नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे. नमो महावदन्याय कृष्णप्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्णचैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः. हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधाकान्त नमोस्तुते. तप्त काञ्चन गौरांगी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये. वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas, Vaishnavis. Thank you for assembling here to discuss Srimad Bhagavatam. And thank you for the seva opportunity. This is a beautiful verse towards the concluding of this chapter, where we hear this wonderful prayer. O Lord, you do not desire the creation, maintenance or annihilation of this material world, but you perform these activities for the conditioned souls by your creative energy. Exactly as a piece of iron moves under the influence of the lodestone, inert matter moves when you glance over the total material energy. Through this beautiful prayer, Jai Shri Radha Vrindavan Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai, Shri Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Maiya Shri Sudarshan ki Jai, Shri Gaurnitai Chandra Bhagavan ki Jai. Through this beautiful prayer, we can see how the devotee is always keeping conscious of the existence of the Lord, the role of the Lord, the connection with the Lord. And as Srila Prabhupada is nicely describing in the purport, it is not the material energy independent which can do any significant task. And in this beautiful verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita, it is compared with ajagalastana. It is nipples on the goat which can't produce milk. Beautiful qualities of devotees, prominent amongst them, can be considered as Krishnamaya Jagat. How a devotee considers the role of the Lord everywhere. So, Krishnamaya Jagat is the important trait of a devotee. So, there are two aspects to Krishnamaya Jagat. The first is he never fails to perceive and acknowledge the role of the Lord. He never perceives or acknowledge the role of the Lord. And secondly, he never fails to spot the connection with the Lord. Come what may be any situation, higher, lower, happy, sad, distressful, delightful. In every situation, he will always recognize the role of the Lord. In every situation, in every action, in every occurrence, in every incidence, any external, internal situations, struggles, he will always be connecting it with the Lord. He will be recognizing role of the Lord in everything, in his own life, in someone else's life, in the overall creation. So recognizing the role of the Lord and spotting the connection with the Lord is an important art which the devotee internalizes, and that's called Krishnamaya Jagat. He can see the hand of the Lord, existence of the Lord, role of the Lord, connection with the Lord in every situation. Like we hear in life of Vidura Maharaj, when he came to give good advice to Duryodhan and Dhritarashtra, but Duryodhan badly insulted him and he said unutterable words for him, although it was the best guidance in the complete creation. At that time, Maharaj Vidur, there's a description in Srimad Bhagavatam, and Srila Prabhupada describes in the purport how Maharaj Vidur, he just kept the bow at the doorstep of Dhritarashtra and he left from there. And how he considered the acts of the external energy of the Lord to be supreme. And also could see that the internal energy is helping him. So he could see although situation is very difficult, it's not easy. You have given the whole existence for the maintenance of a dynasty, for their survival, to serve them, to maintain them, to prosper them. And you are being completely demonized of your existence and your contribution. So it is like the existence has come to an end situation for Vidur. But what is he considering? He is thinking the acts of the external energy to be supreme. And at the same time, he can see that as far as materialistic people are concerned, they will have the role of only material energy, the external energy. But as far as devotees are concerned, there is a role of both material energy and spiritual energy in the lives of devotees. And he could see that. And even Srila Prabhupada describes this in the purport, that how for a devotee, material and spiritual, both energies act simultaneously, as it was acting in the case of Maharaj Vidur. So he could connect it even at such trying situation, how it was act of the external energy of the Lord and the internal. Why internal energy? Because that helped him get closer to the Lord. He could solely be from all the disturbances away and be there completely in the association of devotees, in the holy dham, in different holy places and tirthas, and he could completely immerse himself in the thoughts and consciousness of the Lord. So thus he could connect it and understand it is the act of the internal potency of the Lord as well, and not just the external potency of the Lord. So this is Krishnamaya Jagat, recognizing role of the Lord and spotting connection with the Lord and never failing in that. It's very important. And that will give rise to a situation which is called Krishnamaya Jivan. So Krishnamaya Jagat is being conscious of the Lord. Krishnamaya Jivan is implementing that thought and consciousness in one's actions and life and thoughts. That is Krishnamaya Jivan. So Krishnamaya Jagat and Krishnamaya Jivan are important traits in the life of a devotee, which he never fails in. No matter what is the situation, no matter what he comes across, although it is the act of the Supreme Lord or the external energy of the Lord, and that's what very strongly uh, places him in the devotional service to the Lord. Also, a devotee never fails to take the right inspiration. It is also wrong to take the wrong inspiration, because we come across situations and sometimes there are what lesson the Lord or devotees may want to give us, and what we're learning from that is something else, something different. So there was once a villager, he hardly bothered to do any of his responsibilities and duties, and he would just somehow bear with it, and he would somehow do firefighting and find some solution to the situations, and was never dutiful towards any of his duties. What to say of spiritual, not even material duties. Then he once was traveling, and uh, he came across a village, and there it was a farm, and he saw the fruits, and he thought, because he always believed in easy going and not working hard, not doing duty, so he thought, oh, these are good fruits. So he just entered the fence and he tried to climb and steal some fruits. But the owner, he started shouting and chasing after him, and he ran and ran, and ultimately he reached a forest. In the forest, he saw there was one incapacitated, handicapped fox, who was kind of barely able to walk, and he was just struggling to stand there. And there were some animals around, and he was seeing. He was seeing the beauty of the forest, and he thought, oh, it is so nice here. I don't have to do anything else. And then he heard the roar of a lion. And all the animals nearby ran away. And there was a fox. He couldn't run away, all the lion. He just was somehow, you know, struggling and somehow, taking some steps and trying to move aside. And this man, he was so frightened. He climbed the tree nearby. And then the lion came. And to his great surprise, the lion had a big piece of meat in his mouth. And he was wondering, what will this fox do now? Because no one stands in front of a lion. And lion may completely finish the existence of any other animal. But to his great surprise, the lion came and with a piece of meat and dropped it in front of the fox, seeing that the fox is not able to move and run away. So he was so surprised. And then he contemplated that, yes, see, the Lord is so merciful. This lion has provided the food to the fox. And the fox, although handicapped, but still, without going anywhere, not only was he protected, but he was even provided for his sustenance. And he was so happy, and he thought, the Lord will always protect me. And he just stayed on the branch of the tree. And he thought, if the Lord is going to protect, why should I do even anything? Why should I even go to somebody else's fence or trees or take fruits or even go to my village and my home? If the Lord wants to protect me, he will come here on the branch of the tree and I will be protected. So with that consciousness, he slept on the branch itself that night. And it was the next day. Still he decided not to move and do anything else. Then he still was continuing. And the next day also passed. And what happened? Nothing happened. And it was the second day. He was still sitting on the branch. And he was thinking, oh, I'm thinking the Lord will provide like the Lord provided to the fox. But I didn't get what to say of anything to eat. I couldn't drink even water, a sip of water here. What is this? He just found the right time, got down from the tree, and somehow started walking towards the residences of the people around. When he was close by a temple, he saw one saintly person. And he was sitting and he was talking to a few people, telling them about God. So he went there a bit little annoyed, and he came and he asked this saintly person, Maharaj, I thought to ask you a question. I came across a very disturbing situation in my life. And Maharaj said, yes, my dear son, please tell that. And then he described how it was so nice of the Lord who provided for the existence and sustenance of the fox. And then I was staying on the branch for 2 days and 2 nights, but I didn't get a grain of food, not even a fruit, not even a sip of water. What is this? What is your Lord doing? And why this happened to me? The saintly person told him, dear son, the lesson that Lord wanted to give you was the Lord wanted you to become lion and not fox. The Lord wanted you to learn a lesson, exist for the benefit of others. Not that you exist for sustain over the mercy of others. So when he heard that from, it really opened his eyes. And then he saw, not only I should very respectfully, very dutifully, in appropriate manner, make my existence and roles perfect, at the same time exist for benefiting the others. And you got the lesson, like we hear the lesson from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Janma sarthaka kari karabo paropakar. So the saintly person taught him not to derive wrong inspiration from the things. So this is also important when we come across situations and the incidences, occurrences in life, we don't derive the wrong inspiration. And how do we always understand what is the right inspiration and wrong inspiration? It's always safe to always check it with Guru Sadhu Shastra. And that our conclusions, our inspirations, our lessons are in line with what the Lord actually is indicating. So when we verify it with it, then initial stages we always need to do that. Otherwise, we can always derive wrong inspirations. So when a devotee lives such Krishnamaya existence and Krishnamaya thought, that is Krishnamaya Jagat and Krishnamaya Jivan, there's one Krishnamaya prayer which is always talking everything about Krishna. So he says, Krishno rakshatu no jagatraya guru, Krishnam navadvam sada, Krishnena khila shatravo vinihata, Krishnaya tasmai namaha. Krishnadeva samuthitam jagadidam Krishnasya dasosmyaham Krishne tishtati vishwametadakhilam He Krishna rakshasva mam. So first he says Krishno rakshatu no. Oh my dear Lord Krishna, this most merciful Lord Krishna, may that Krishna always protect us all and protect everyone, protect the whole existence. So that is the prayer of a devotee. He is always praying to Lord Krishna because he is the only worthy person who can protect. So it's worth saying that may the Lord Krishna protect us all than anyone else. We may imagine anyone else as protector, but Lord Krishna can be the only protector. So the first thing is proclaiming. In fact, there are 8 forms of a word being used in this verse. This is Prathama, Dvitiya, Tritiya, for those who know Sanskrit Vyakaran. So he's using Krishno, and then Krishnam, then Krishna, Krishnaya, Krishnat, Krishnaya, Krishnasya. So like that he's using for Panchami to Prabodhanam, so Prathama to Prabodhanam. All the forms of the Krishna word he's using in this verse. So he's saying, make Krishna protect us all. This is a very befitting prayer. Even today's time, we all are very saddened by the situation around in the world. Last few days, we know this Russian invasion has caused a lot of disturbances in Ukraine and many countries around, and in the country of Russia itself. And we keep hearing stories of even devotees who are so badly affected by this situation. And we may not be able to even realize, for us it's a news, for them it's a reality in life. They have to live by it. And it is so distressful situation. The lives are devastated. And for those of us who have idea of what it means by a war, generations will be destroyed. And it takes generations together to recover the losses. What to say of the petty factors like my home or my bank balance? That even is not in the count. These are so distressful effects. So our God brothers and God sisters and cousin God brothers and God sisters are suffering very bad time. Although we understand from the heart of heart, they have connection to the Lord and they are always remembering the Lord, depending on the Lord. but for the basic things like having the food and grain and water and the power is also challenge, and communication are also challenging situation. We certainly at this moment offer this heartfelt prayer to the Lord. May you protect these wonderful devotees in these affected, impacted areas, and may they get reinstated properly in their lives to serve the Lord and all the other duties in the proper way. So the Lord can protect. We understand, although we are sensitive to everyone, not only devotees. We, like this devotee is praying, Krishna rakshatu no jagatrayo guru. May Lord Krishna always protect one and all, the whole creation, everyone. So we are sensitive not only to devotees but everyone in the creation, because ultimately everyone is part and parcel of Krishna and we want them to be connected. So may the Lord always protect them. After saying Krishna rakshatu no jagatrayo guru, Krishnam namadvam sada, Krishnena khila shatravo vinihata, he is gratefully recognizing how the Lord has destroyed all the enemies in his life. So gratitude is the key for all prosperity and fortune. The devotee is gratefully recognizing how the Lord has destroyed all the enemies. Is it so easy? Like we all are sitting here and beautifully discussing Srimad Bhagavatam in the temple of the Lord, and in the morning hours. This is such a great fortune, but is that easy? Is that easy? It's easy, it's possible for us because of some higher power, because of some higher energy, because of some higher mercy. So there are so many obstacles, there have been so many enemies in lives. But the Lord has mercifully destroyed all these enemies. Krishnena khila shatravo vinihata. Lord Krishna has destroyed all the enemies on our path, in our lives. So a devotee gratefully recognizes this contribution of the Lord in his life. And it is only Krishna who can actually destroy the enemies, not anyone else. Nobody else has that power. Sometimes devotees like to debate on material problems have spiritual solutions or material problems have material solutions. And there is a great debate on that. And sometimes devotees are saying, material problems, sometimes you need to deal with the material problems. So it can be a fact that sometimes material problems need to be dealt in different ways. But the fact is that every solution originates from the spiritual realm. It can only be the Lord who can solve something. Sometimes it is possible that the means may be material or spiritual. That can be discussed. But the source, the origin is always spiritual. It's always only the Lord who can destroy the enemies that we may face in life, in spiritual life, in our other aspects of life. Krishnena khila shatravo vinihata, he is gratefully recognizing. And because what do you mean by solution ultimately? When you say material problem has material solution, solution is not just negation of a particular problem. Solution means something better. Solution means creation of auspiciousness, creation of fortune. So if something is not auspicious, we can't necessarily can call that as a solution. So sometimes material problem, if you call something as a material solution, but if that has not originated from spiritual purpose and that doesn't root again towards the spiritual cause, then that solution actually doesn't prove to be solution. Because you can see, even if somebody gets something, so to say, what's the after effect? We can see a person who's not spiritually connected, even if getting some so-called material solution, doesn't prove to be creating for his betterment or for his auspiciousness. So the true solution can originate only from the Lord. And sometimes the Lord may arrange it through material means, that's possible. But always, any solution, it's only Lord Krishna who holds the power to destroy all the enemies. So this is Krishnamaya verse, like that in all the forms of the word Krishna, the devotee is offering prayers. Like this, there is a Krishnamaya verse, there is for Gaudiya Vaishnavas, there is also Gauramaya prayer. Like you have Krishnamaya prayer, there is Gauramaya prayer. So you can hear it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, where the prayer is offered to Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Gaurasya charitamrutam mrutanidhi gauram sadaivastute gaurena prathitam rahasya bhajanam gauraya sarvam dade gauradasti krupaluratra paro gaurasya bhrutyo bhavam gaure gauravam acharami bhagavan gauraprabho rakshamam. Is saying that Gaurasya charitamrutam mrutanidhi, how he is the Lord Gauranga is the ocean of so many sweet, wonderful, auspicious pastimes. And one of the most important things that is Gaurena Prathitam Rahasya Bhajanam, how Lord Gauranga has revealed the secret of the spiritual knowledge, the scriptures, and how he has done that without consideration of any qualifications. And Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami analyzes mercy of Panchatattva, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Panchatattva in the Adilila, where he says, Bahu janma kare jadi shravana kirtan tabutana paye Krishna pade premadhan. He says, if you don't take shelter of mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Panchatattva, even if you do the bhajan and kirtan for lifetimes, you may not achieve that Krishna pade premadhan. It's only by mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that is possible. Then he says, yes, it is true that the holy name of the Lord is very merciful and very potent. But at the same time, we are filled with prachura aparad. Prachur, he uses the word prachur. So he says, Eka Krishna nama hai sarva papakshay. One holy name can destroy all the sins and arouse the pure love of the God in the heart. Even the ecstasy, symptoms of ecstasy will be manifested. But still, why it happens? It is said that the holy name is so powerful. Hena Krishna nama jadi laya bahubar, tabu jadi prema nahe ashrudhar. So such Krishna naam, if somebody chants again and again, but still there is tabu jadi prema nahe and nahe ashrudhar. So if one is not experiencing the prema and there is no ashrudhar, what is the cause? So the cause also he explains. Tabe jani aparadha tahate prachur. This is happening because there have been enormous offenses towards the holy name. And Krishna nama bijatare na kare ankur. And that's the reason why the actual effects of the holy name are not fructifying. But next verse, he is giving the hope for all the practitioners, all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas. He says, Chaitanya Nityanande nahi esaba vichar, namalaite premaden bahe ashrudhar. But in Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's and Nityanand Prabhu's case, there is no vichar of this aparad. Namalaite premaden, it will give you the holy, the pure love of God. And bahe ashrudhar, one will cry tears when one chants the holy name of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda. And then somebody said, but I have chanted so many times, I don't feel ecstasy, I don't feel I'm not crying tears. So why can and how can Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami say that? Well, we are already awarded that, but Lord is looking for the right time for it to give the manifestation. For example, sometimes you receive something in some amount is credited to the account, and it's mentioned the balance is so many thousand rupees subjected to clearing of the instrument, subjected to clearing of the check. So amount is in process, the clearing is in process, and it will be credited to the account, and you don't have to worry, it is already there. But what one has to do for that? One has to just wait. If somebody puts credits a check of, let's say, 1 lakh rupees to my account, what do I have to do to get that amount? Just don't close my bank account, and then I will get that amount in my account automatically. It's already in process. Similarly, the devotees, our spiritual master and acharyas, have opened our spiritual accounts. Willingly, our willingness was there or not, it's a different question. They have opened account for us. They have created the check also. Of what? They have created check of Namalaite Premadena Bahe Ashrudhar. So all this is credited. And what is the clearing process? This lifetime of sadhana bhakti and the seva to the spiritual master and acharyas and our sampradaya is the clearing process. We just have to wait for that and not close our accounts, and it will be credited. And a time will come. What is the difference between, see, at the moment there are two persons. There's one person in whose account the check is credited, and there is another person in whose account there is no check clearing in process. At this moment, both may have zero balance, but they both are not same. So the situation of a practicing devotee is that. Although it may appear, like Srila Prabhupada says in the Bhagavatam verse, there are only two people happy in this creation, the damn fool and the pure devotee. And the people in between are suffering. Well, we may be suffering, we may have zero balance at the moment, but our credit is in process. And that is by mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityanand Prabhu. And when we continue to follow, be there, when we be there and not do anything extra, not disconnect from the bank account or not do anything weird, and then at that time we can have this mercy, credited to us. This Krishnamaya Jagat is thought of a devotee, or Gauramaya Jagat, where Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is analyzing the mercy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It helps a devotee to come to the stage of Krishnamaya Jivan. Because Krishnamaya Jagat is not just on the philosophical platform. It is, he implements it further. When you are able to recognize the role of the Lord and you can spot the connection with the Lord, this is on the thought, it is on the level of understanding, it is on the level of the mind. But he doesn't stop at that level, he implements it as a Krishnamaya Jivan. And then it is complete. Krishnamaya Jagat without Krishnamaya Jagat Jivan is mental speculation. And Krishnamaya Jivan without Krishnamaya Jagat, the proper consciousness, is sometimes sentimentalism. Person may act something, but he may not have the right understanding. But when they both are together, then that makes it complete. Also, there is a finer aspect to Krishnamaya Jagat. Krishnamaya Jagat is not only seeing and understanding role and hand of God or connection of the God, but gratefully and favorably accepting it. Many times we may be able to see, but are we able to accept that? That this is what the Lord wants. This is what the energy of the Lord is doing. So the finer aspect of Krishnamaya Jagat is not only see. So Krishnamaya Jagat is seeing Krishna in everything. So seeing Krishnamaya Jagat is at the level of knowledge. And accepting Krishnamaya Jagat is at the level of value. And practicing Krishnamaya Jagat is at the level of skills. And this trio of Krishnamaya Jagat and Krishnamaya Jivan is a very hopeful and is an auspicious tripod on which a devotee can rest his life and thus be successful. And this is how, accepting what the Lord wants, what the energy of the Lord wants, is equally or rather more important than just seeing the role of the Lord or the energy of the Lord. Like Maharaj Pruthu prayed in his prayers and he said, I may have challenge, seeing what you are giving, but you are like my father and I am like child. I may like or I may not like, but please ignore that. You just consider me child and keep doing what is best for me. And through that prayer, he is exhibiting the spirit of Krishnamaya Jagat and Krishnamaya Jivan, how a devotee always roots his thought at keeping the Lord in the center of his existence, of his thought, and not only connecting, but also accepting it favorably and gratefully, and thus implementing in life to do the best of his capacity, and thus make his life successful. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Samaved Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna. we also should not have a very superficial understanding of what is aparadha. Aparadh is very specifically described in scriptures as a very malicious, envious approach towards a devotee and trying to belittle and harm in subtle or gross ways. That's actually what is meant by an aparadh. Uh, Smaller practical things sometimes, we start sometimes considering any small thing also as aparadh. So for some practical purpose, if somebody is trying to make someone aware or trying to managerially trying to act or give a feedback or doing any constructive criticism, that may not be an aparadh. Sometimes we get annoyed also. Like we are chanting and some other devotees may come very close to us and very screamingly chant close to us. We get irritated, and we feel little bad also, I'm chanting the holy name of the Lord, but irritated by the loud noise of the Lord's name itself. In a way, it is right, but in a way, this is not considered as an offense. Of course, it's always best to be extra cautious. Being extra cautious is best, but that's not what is called as an offense. Till the time we are not enviously taking steps to belittle, demean a devotee, and trying to do something, act on something, and enviously trying to defame a particular devotee, it is not considered, an offense. And on practical perspective, somebody might be wanting to do that. For example, we have various devotees in managerial capacity, their services, and if they are, questioning some devotee for not doing something what he or she was expected to do, that's not wrong on their part. Sometimes they may even have to scold. But end of the day, if they don't do that, how will the service to the Lord run? So we have to also be careful. And sometimes we are also not. We have to remember that we are also not stones. We have beings with feelings. Something not happening as per our liking or as per our nature, we may get put off. We may get distressed, and we may have difficulty tolerating that. But let's express to somebody close and near and dear one, and let's get it addressed. Then just trying to just bury that inside, because that also needs to get addressed. But that necessarily is not an offense. So we have to be clear what an offense is. Offense is also not something very superficial, but when it is done, it is extremely. Offense is such a damn thing. Next moment you cannot even breathe. You'll realize that. Offense is such a thing. Sometimes we go close to the offense and we realize that. We cannot even eat food. We cannot even read a verse from the scripture. We cannot even chant one holy name. You will experience that. That's a very severe thing. So, my simple contribution to that, question would be, let's always be extra cautious. That's good. At the same time, have a clear understanding what aparadh is, and be extremely far, far, far away from an offense. And if we are struggling with some practical situation, let's always consult our close, near and dear ones. We don't have to always consult someone for getting a guidance. Sometimes, just opening up heart to some near and dear one also helps. And just by talking to someone, because, most of you practicing for decades, I don't think you have any questions as such. But sometimes it's helped talk to somebody, because we are ultimately beings with emotions and feelings. Express to somebody, that will help. Does that answer your question? Anyone else would like to add to that? Many illustrious assemblies, Vaishnavas, Mahavirya Prabhu, Vamshivadan Prabhu, Antardvip Prabhu, all stalwarts. Anyways, Ahobilam Narsingh Prabhu is sitting. Hare Krishna. So we'll close with that. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.